What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of hawkshoops. We got a special quarantine edition. I got me and my boys here, Michelle, Mario, and Galen. We're going to talk about these first 4 episodes of the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. What's y'all opening? How y'all been feeling these first couple episodes? What's your feeling? How you like how they presented it? Just initial thoughts.
So for me, obviously, I wasn't old enough to really watch basketball when Michael Jordan was around. Obviously, I know who Michael Jordan is and what he's done, obviously. But like I caught on to basketball in like 2003 when I stopped watching football. So for me to go back and see like how the game specifically was being played and how they was really getting it in back then, it's a kind of a nice thing to like really see deep into, because unless there's like camera crews there, you don't really know what's going on behind doors. So it's nice to have like that like aspect of it being explained to you and all that.
So,
yeah, for me, when it comes to this documentary, it's really different, like G said, because growing up, I started watching basketball. Kobe, everybody, Kobe's the greatest. He's a GOAT. He's going to introduce you to basketball, but I tried to study basketball history, going back and looking at games in the 80s. I'm a huge Larry Bird fan. I love Larry Bird. Watching those games, it was different, and the documentary helps get more in depth, because now we can just watch the games. It's just the 48 minutes I was on the court, but this documentary is bringing behind the scenes stuff that I never understood. The whole Jerry Krause thing. Everybody, I would say, knows about Jerry Krause, but how everything went down, it's just more in depth. And there is a different, I wouldn't say a different feel, but there's a different understanding of why things went the way they did. And I think that's what this documentary is bringing out behind the scenes stuff as to why things happen the way it did. And that's just really it. And I'm really enjoying it. It's very well put together. The structure of the show, focus on each singular player, going back to their childhood, showing how they grew up, why they turn into the player / person that they are or they were at that time.
Copy. Well, for me, kind of similar to Mario, I started watching basketball probably in like 2001, 2002. At a young age, my uncle's a very, very big Kobe Bryant fan, to the point that I have a little cousin named Kobe, and his middle name is, I'm serious, his middle name is Brandon, because his mom said, you gotta chill out. Like, you gotta chill out. So I like legit, I have a little cousin named Kobe. He's actually like the grandchild that's right under me. So me and him were close and everything like that. But coming off my uncle loving Kobe and all the old heads in my family just always talking about, Kobe Bryant, comparing his game to Michael Jordan, that's basically where it just started right there. Going back and, sitting down with them, hearing them talk about Jordan, the games, the averages, the greatest of all time, the 2 3-peats, the 6 rings, the like 10 scoring championships. It's just like, as I continue to get older, it was like, I need to see this for myself, so that's when you start getting into watching the old games, on the internet or on ESPN Classic, or, when all that stuff used to come on, used to always be glued in. And then Dwayne Wade's my favorite player from Chicago. Jordan's like one of his greatest inspirations. So when I started watching college basketball in like 2003, and Dwayne Wade is, up and coming, eventually he signs to Jordan. So if D Wade got all this love for Jordan, I got to do more, research, figure out why he loved Jordan so much. So just doing that, it's been like what really got me into Jordan. And then this documentary, because I really like documentaries and stuff like this. So to see the back end of everything, to like see what was going on off the court is probably the best part of this for me, because, seeing that he dropped 60 whatever against the Celtics, and Larry Bird saying that's Jesus Christ and everything like that. Like that's cool. You've seen it all the time, but like just hearing him talk about it, hearing his teammates talk about it, it just makes it so much more real. And then also all the interactions so far that we've seen with him and like equipment managers and his teammates laughing, joking in practice, things that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
It really changes your entire like view on him. Yeah, it's been I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed episodes 1 through 4.
Yeah, same. For me, it's funny when y'all started watching basketball, I was like, they've been watching basketball way longer than I have. Because I didn't really start watching basketball until like 2009, 2010, really, when Kobe was on that back-to-back. That's when I kind of got into basketball. I remember the first time I actually really, really paid attention to basketball was the Celtics finals in 2008. And then that's when I really started getting into it that following season. But I like this so much because y'all kind of touched on it, the context that it's been given, being able to, the reporters are giving some of the context that was happening around the games, because we get that all the time now with today's NBA players. They can't even sneeze without somebody tweeting about it and all this, that, and the third. And so being able to see, like Michelle said, some of that off-court stuff, see the thoughts that these players were having during these moments, it kind of just, it helps, to me, it helps fill out the player, my idea of the player a whole lot more. So here I just wanted to get y'all on here. We're just going to talk about these first couple of episodes that have aired so far to date. Mainly episodes 1 through 4. And I want to started off when the way this started. I knew that the Chicago Bulls was trash before Jordan came, but I knew they were crackheads. Like, he walked in the room and it was women and drugs and alcohol. He was like, I gotta get up out of here. I was like,
I gotta get up out of here. That's what he said.
Yo, don't do him like that.
He was like, I knew I couldn't stay.
Okay.
And the fact that he was still like, that's what made it look even crazier. The fact that he was dragging this team the couple wins they had his rookie season, and then to get him to the playoffs his sophomore season.
Yeah. I will say that coming in as a rookie, the type of the mindset he had, and like just the dog in him at a very early age, very respectable. I can really commend to that, because it's not easy coming in, because when you're a rookie, you come in at the bottom of the totem pole, and you literally have to work your way up from the beginning of the season, and hopefully by the end of the season, you got some stain, you got some respect. But to come in and just go right for the lead at that time, that takes a different type of personality and a different type of energy and different type of person to just come in and walk in and be on top like that. That's different.
That was dope about that, and what was crazy is because, like Michelle, like we were saying, they keep talking about the families and stuff and how that person became that player became the person they are or whatever. And I believe it was when they was talking about Jordan's family, when his father used to tell him all the time, like when him and his older brother be outside doing something, go in the house, you ain't helping nothing, like this, that, the third. And Jordan grew up, always felt like he had to prove himself and wanted to show that he belonged to things like that. And I think that hit that
fueled
that upbringing helped instill that in him by the time he got to the league.
Yeah, that's different. That's one thing I say. You don't really see that type of dog and that type of hunger in a lot of people today.
Yeah.
And I mean, thinking about like what they were getting paid back then, I mean, you had to find there has to be a certain type of motivation, because nowadays, I don't want to get too much into nowadays basketball, but people tend to get complacent when they get that big bread, and you see that fight in them before they get that big contract, but that fight stayed with him his whole career.
True.
And that's respectable. That's what I like about Jordan.
Quick, I'm sorry. Can you?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was funny because like I always heard like Michael Jordan wasn't like the best player growing up. Like it wasn't like how specifically like how LeBron got a documentary where they looked at him going through high school like, oh, he the one. That's not how Michael Jordan was. And I love seeing that, because more than anything, I like somebody who's like, yo, I'm gonna be the best. Like no matter what, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna just work. Like I like people who may not have that natural talent right off the bat, but they work so hard, like it's just there. And I enjoy seeing that. Really did enjoy seeing that. You know what I mean? It just, because I don't think there's a lot of people like that nowadays. I think Kobe was another one who was like that, where he was just like, yo, like, I'm gonna get this basket. I'm gonna be the best. We're gonna win a chip right now. Like, this is what we're gonna do. And they work as hard as possible to get that done. So I really did like seeing that about him coming off the first episode.
Another thing that they really talked about, especially in that second episode when he really got into talking about Scottie Pippen, and what blew my mind, and this is one of the things I talk about when I say this show has taught me things that I thought I knew but had no idea. I didn't realize Scottie Pippen wasn't really getting paid like that. Like, I knew his contract wasn't as close as Jordan, but I didn't know he was like not really getting paid. Like, he was he had the sixth highest contract on the team at one point, and he was either number one or number two in pretty much every stat outside of points, which Jordan had. And he was arguably top 3 player in the league, but like 100th in salary in the league.
I have a question real quick. How much was he getting paid? I missed that part, and I heard everybody talking about it.
So like $6 million over 3 years, I think.
It was a 7-year contract, $18 million after his rookie extension.
Compare him to somebody else who had a higher contract in terms.
I feel like we can find a lot of people back then.
Yeah, you honestly just gotta say how much was Jordan getting paid and how much was Pippen getting paid.
And it was a wild difference.
Well, I think wasn't that when Jordan was making like around 30 a year? Like when he was the first one to ever get close to that?
That was later on, though. That was later on. And,
that's crazy.
That was like around the second three-peat.
Yeah, but Pippen's that 7-year contract spanned
landed
three-peat, and the
to the end of the second,
the second three-peat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his before his first All-Star appearance, because remember the first time he was an All-Star, they lost to the Pistons game 7. I mean, he had that migraine when Jordan could have had 4 straight. But we're not even gonna get into all of that.
Yeah, so Scotty's was 91. He started in 91.
Yeah.
So it was 91
So what Hawk said about one, I wanted to touch back on what you said about the Jordan playing with crackheads. I think the funniest thing about, not the funniest, but I think the most interesting thing about that is that if you really take a look at how the 80s were in Chicago, like American history, the 80s around the entire country was a wild, wild place. And imagine Chicago, which is like, one of our best cities that we have in the country, but also is a city that's known for, drug addiction and stuff like that. So when Jordan started saying that stuff, it was like a shock. But then it's just like, I put into context, and I'm just like,
that's
okay,
the environment they was in.
That's the environment they was in, And then if you were on a sorry team, what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? It's just like what we have today, where you have, most of the young cats, they wanna blow tree, they wanna go out, they wanna drink and stuff like that. Everybody has their own vices. So when he said all of that stuff, I mean, I definitely was like in shock that, he was around that at such a young age. But then I was just like, I mean, with the context of everything, the time, of course, it had to be happening, and it probably wasn't just happening in Chicago. It's probably happening all over the league. That's just kind of human nature. And then as far as it goes for Scottie Pippen, being a Dwayne Wade fan and knowing that Dwayne Wade ain't never get paid.
Never got a bag.
Never got a bag. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised. And then also on top of that, once you got into the documentary from episode 1, and you see how Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdale was like who they are, because a lot of people were talking about Jerry Krause, but both of them Jerrys, they some suckers, man. They some suckers, because today you trying to tell me who's a owner? Mark Cuban, right? Mark Cuban, you trying to tell me, Dirk, not even Dirk, or Jason Kidd when he was on the Mavs. Jason Kidd wanted to be paid more, and the GMA want to pay Jason Kidd. You think Mark Cuban will let that go down? There's no way.
I mean,
but
Jerry said he told him not to sign it.
He did.
He did, but there's a difference, and I've said this to people before. There's a difference with saying, I don't think you should sign this, and telling your general manager
To pay you more.
pay him what he's worth.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
And I understand it comes down, business decisions, making sure, you know, we good for the future, all that, yada yada, whoop-de-whoop. That's cool. But literally that Bulls run could have been from
Could have been longer.
It could have been from 1990, the year before they won their first championship,
Mm-hmm.
all the way through to at least like 99. Because, you know, Jordan, you know, they literally lost Game 7 because Scottie Pippen had a migraine. That's why they lost the game.
Yeah.
He had a migraine. Crazy. But that's why he lost Game 7. My man retires after, you know, his father passes, and I'm pretty sure the documentary is going to get into all of that, but like they literally had a window to win at least. I don't know how their bodies would have, you know, taken it. I don't know how mentally it would have gone, but like you won 6 in like an 8-year span. You could have won like 8 in a 10-year span, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense because my cousin even mentioned he's a huge Jordan fan, but he was saying the Bulls could have taken it up to 2000 because you know the Lakers three-peat 2001 and 2. That was Phil Jackson. Because, you know, after Phil Jackson left, he went to LA. If he was still there, those LA at least 2000. That 2000 championship
might not be there.
It could have been Chicago's.
Yeah, and you never know. Shaq might not have gone either.
Shaq might have not went to LA, so the whole league could have been different.
Yeah.
But you know what that goes to show? That's the telling of the time, because we talk about it. Everyone says now that it's a players' league now, and some love it or hate it, but that's what people say. But it really goes to show that in the 90s and in the, you know, especially in the 80s, but even carrying over into the 90s, it showed how much the GMs and the owners really thought it was them who was making these teams great. Like Krause really thought it was him that
put them together.
That did it. Like he really thought like he was the mastermind behind all of that, and he thought that he could just repeat it without those pieces. He's like, I mean, if y'all ain't gonna be here, and I could just do it again.
Meanwhile, the whole time it was a triangle offense.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was a triangle. Don't do that.
It wasn't the triangle. You know what? So what you trying to say? You trying to say Jordan would have won without the triangle?
I'm saying the triangle brought them over the top. Like the triangle brought the.
No, I don't think the
triangle is the offense of the three-peat.
I don't think so.
That's all I'm gonna say. The triangle is the offense of the three-peat.
I'm not gonna say. You know why I'm not gonna say that? The reason why I'm not gonna say that is because the literal. No. Doug Collins was doing a good job because he had Michael Jordan.
The offense was Speed MJ.
Oh, that was Speed MJ.
Yo, my man had all the scoring titles, all the MVPs. Yo, hold on right quick. Yeah, I'll be right back. Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, but it's being a players' league nowadays. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah,
because you know, we got. I didn't want to bring it here, but like, no problem. People creating super teams. I feel like that's a part of it being I wouldn't say downside, but that's an effect of it being a players' league, making decisions, and it's they're right to do so. But at the same time, sometimes it has in the past made the game less competitive. Nowadays,
and it did for a while.
Yeah, now
it just got
exactly. The league is kind of in balance now, but at the same time, it also helps players get what they deserve as well. True. They have the voice to be like, yo, no, I want this and I want this. Help to dictate. They're in charge of their careers, in a sense. So it's a blessing and a curse.
You've seen it in the past with like before, I guess you could say it was a players' league with some of the old school players who, tried to do it on their own and then couldn't because low key that Lakers team and what was it that 03 Lakers team the year they didn't win, it low key had an all-star roster on it if all those players weren't pretty much at the end of their career.
Yeah, with Gary and Carl.
Yes,
Yeah.
popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like they were at the end of their career.
I think the league is always gonna have super teams because it just goes back to the inception of the league. You know, in the early days where you
It
had
was
them
just two
Celtics
teams.
that had
Everybody.
everybody. You know, so I just think it's the nature of the league. It's just gonna go up and down where
Yeah.
you're gonna have like a lot of people on a couple good teams and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's just but I think one good thing that comes from it is that we always see some of like it might not be the most competitive basketball like side to side unless they're like there's an imposing force that is good enough to face them. You know, that's why the Celtics ran off with like all of the championships from 1902 to like 1995 like so I mean, but eventually when like, you know, the Lakers started getting good and, you know, there was battles, then you have those like iconic battles between franchises that like people like seeing, you know, for the most part, people love seeing them big battles.
Yeah, for sure. And not to get off topic and get into present day NBA, but the thing with super teams is I do understand, like, I don't like seeing like having that thought like we already know who's gonna win the chip this year. Like that thought is a terrible game. But it also makes I feel like it makes certain GMs and certain teams step up. Because if you want to
be creative,
like for instance, like the 76ers, not that they're good and they blow my mind, but like they made all those trades last year to keep up with all the super teams or all the good teams that were there. So it forced them to get better immediately. In other terms, you know what I mean? They just would have sat with their same players and just tried and tried again every single year for what they had instead of forced change. So I enjoy it sometimes. I do like where the league is now. And I do think there'll always be a bunch of super teams. As long as there's only, instead of one super team, there's a couple. So we do have some type of balance. It's all good to me.
Yeah.
Trying to relate that to the Bulls. The Sixers had Doug Collins at it for a minute, right? The Sixers had Doug Collins for a minute. I would just say,
but
you know, Brett Brown.
The Sixers ain't had no Michael Jordan though.
Yeah, Sixers ain't have
no.
We have good seasons with Doug Collins. I was looking up the
Sixers,
numbers. We ain't have good seasons with Doug Collins.
Exactly, but I'm just gonna say
he wasn't Doug Collins with the Sixers. That's why.
You throw this Doug Collins, Doug Collins on this Sixers. Yo, I'm trying to tell Embiid be an MVP because he's just gonna feed Embiid the ball wherever he wants it. and then that's it. Everybody just
get out of the way.
Everybody get out the way.
That's
simple. Simple. And Doug Collins probably be the one to be like, Embiid, you better get down in that paint, bro. We're not doing
that's
all
where
this.
he wants to be. So I mean, hey. But yeah.
So
my question is this, because we touched on it a little bit, but I'm just gonna ask. If y'all is Jerry Krause wrong in this? Was it his ego that told Phil you can't come back?
Yes.
Was it was it an ego thing, or did he think he could do it on his own? Like, is it really just all fall down to his fault? Because that's how I felt when I was watching it. Like, because they kept saying,
I mean, it's the mind
about Phil Jackson. He basically kept saying, Phil, you're not coming back. This is your last year. I'm not re-signing you. I don't care. After Jordan publicly said, if Phil not here, well, then I'm not here. And he was like, well, I guess
I'm not here, basically.
Like, that made no sense to me. To this day, I don't understand what could have been going through his mind at the time to think that was the right play.
I mean, that sounds like it's an ego thing. That just the way you just explained it, it's definitely an ego thing. Oh, my best player, my coach, who's taken me not through this three-peat, not once. We're on our way to our second three-peat. That's definitely an ego thing.
Yo, they had 5 championships.
5
championships.
7 years.
5 and 7 years, bro.
And you're like, I'm about to disband this?
Yeah. And then on top of that, if you really think about it, they had probably the most profitable organization in the NBA at that time.
Yeah, they had to.
So,
they had to.
And honestly, that's why I don't just put it on Jerry Krause, and I think about the owner too, because it's like, how you gonna? If I'm an owner and I know how much money, I know how much money I have, and because of this Bulls organization, because he owned the Sox back then too. The Sox were smooth and everything like that. But it's just like, bro, he was getting all his money for the Bulls. Michael Jordan leaves, and because you don't want to, your mans don't want to keep Phil Jackson. I just think bad business decisions here, man. That bad business decisions.
That's an excellent point, because they would definitely had to be the most profitable. I didn't look it up, but I know they was top 5 in profits at least.
Listen, they were selling out. They were selling out every night, single game. They were selling out road games to the point where I'm pretty sure players couldn't get tickets for like their people,
their families and stuff.
Their families and stuff. He's like, they probably don't have tickets for you because it's Jordan and the Bulls.
Jordan and Jordan Nets. Know what I mean?
Well, speaking of one of the Jordan Nets, I want to talk about one of the wild cards that they added later in their run, the addition of Dennis Rodman. And sometimes when I think about how, because I always forget, like I've seen the Bad Boys. I love the Bad Boys Pistons. We were just talking about this on Xbox the other day. I actually really like them. But sometimes when I'm thinking about the Bad Boys Pistons, and then when I think about Jordan's Bulls, I be forgetting that Dennis Rodman was putting his elbow in Jordan's throat in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It wasn't just him. It was Dumars.
I mean, it wasn't just him, but he was a big part of it
too. And Beer, yeah, because he was the one. He was the one trying to guard him. At that time, he was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. Like at that time, he was like leading the league in rebounds at 6'8". So we talk about, honestly, the Bulls adding Rodman.
That's some super team stuff, bro.
It really is.
Like if you miss a shot, it's coming right back out. Like, come on, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't think it's super. I don't think it's super team stuff. I don't think it's super team stuff. Because the reason why I don't think it's super team stuff is because the Bulls legit took a risk signing Rodman. You did not know what you was gonna get from him because at that time, being down in San Antonio, they just bet all their cards.
He was shaking in San Antonio.
Exactly. So they just bet all their cards on him, and it just paid off because he had so much respect for Jordan and Pip. It came out. I'm not saying it's not a super team, but
the trade for Rodman, like they said, they kind of took a risk, but they were confident.
Yeah, they were. The plan was he'd respect Jordan and Pippen. He was like he'd respect their leadership and fall in line.
Exactly.
That was the plan going into it.
And Dennis would be stupid not to go be like, yo, I don't want to make this work because they're it right now. You feel me? They're the team. They're on top of everything. They beat us. They took the mantle from us. They stopped our dynasty. Granted, it's not like I wanted to go here, but y'all traded for me. I'm happy to be here. And the fact about it being a super team, yes, it was. You have a point forward. Scotty, the point forward. Come on now.
Someone who's arguably like top 5 in the league at the time. Let's not forget, Scotty's probably top 5 in the league at the time.
Let me ask this.
Let me finish.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Top 5 in the league, Scotty.
You got the point forward, right? Who locks everything up. He's
1 through 5, lock up.
He's clamped. he can dribble the rock. He can pass the rock. He can put the rock in a basketball. Then you have this glass cleaner who grabs everything under the rim, and then you have an automatic bucket. How is that not a super team?
Yo, I don't think it's a super team. Number one, the reason why I don't think it's a super team is because, I mean, if you look at the way teams are constructed, I feel like the whole super team thing, like I said, I feel like they were just the best team, well constructed. Like that's one of the reasons why I said, you just have a bunch of OD teams throughout the history of the NBA. You know what I mean? The NBA is always gonna have like dominant forces. I guess for me, it's like I just don't want to throw labels around. You know what I mean? Because it just seems, because to me, it's no different than Magic Johnson
and Kareem. Okay,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
James Worthy.
You know what I mean? James Worthy.
That team, Cooper. That Joe was crazy too.
That's a super team too.
but that's just how the league goes. That's just how the league goes. We're not even going to talk about the Celtics having like 4 Hall of Famers at one time.
The Celtics starting 5 was first ballot. They was cheating, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you do, like you said, every generation definitely has that one team that just stands out.
Yeah.
I think the quietest team that really stood out in the recent years have been the Spurs. Like that Manu, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, they were a quiet. Yeah. Since you don't want to put labels on it, they were a quiet over the top team. Since we're not putting a super team on there. Yeah, they were. So what were you gonna say?
I don't think they was quiet. There's no way they was quiet. Tim Duncan won 2 MVPs. I just think because their style of play and stuff like that, they might not get the recognition, but bro, Tim Duncan top 10.
Facts.
There's no debate.
I've always wanted to stay away from it because Tim Duncan wasn't the most flashy player, but I'm gonna have to give him the
exactly.
He's the best power forward of all time.
I mean, it's not really.
Oh, of course, no doubt. That's not even
because I don't think his game wasn't pretty enough or flashy enough for me. But at the same time, the man is efficient.
Listen, Tim Duncan passed the stat test and the eye test, bro. Don't do that.
That's a very important test that I wish everybody would. I wish a test would get more recognition than eye test because numbers lie. But if you're watching the game, and that's one thing with this documentary, watching the game. The eye test, of course, watching Jordan drop 63 in the Garden, all of the in the Celtics, I should say, that was impressive. But the documentary, the events leading up to it, is what he was playing 7 minutes, a half, and then 20 minutes or whatever, and then all of a sudden you unleash the dog, game 1, like he's out here.
Wow.
He's out here playing 7 minutes, and get a 20.
They were really trying to tank that season, bro.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, you just let him go. You just let him play everything the whole game. This nigga goes off for 60.
Yeah, he went off.
Like that's different. Like you playing 7 minutes here and there, and then you give him the 30, and that's wild.
I love that concept. I remember watching it. He was like, "Yo, like." Put me in for 7 minutes. I'm gonna get as many buckets as possible, and then you're gonna take me out. And you're gonna put me back in. I'm gonna get as many buckets as possible. I was like, "Yo, this is crazy."
That's crazy. And like that's a dog I'm talking about. You don't really see that dog in people today, and that's why I'm really enjoying this documentary because I'm really seeing behind the scenes like. My cousin, like I said, he's a big Michael Jordan fan. He used to tell me about all this stuff, like, oh, Michael, this, and that. And just watching the games, I didn't get the really in-depth view. And I don't see why people love Jordan the way they do. And watching this documentary, I've always respected Jordan, but my respect is on a different level now.
I hear that.
And I'm really enjoying the knowledge I'm soaking in from this documentary. And it's just fascinating, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah. Quick question: do y'all think the reason we don't see a dog in a lot of people anymore is because some people are like, I guess, given the title of greatness too soon? Like some people are considered like, yo, he's a great player, he's the best player, or he's the best this before they really accomplish anything. You know what I mean? Like some people like Jordan grew up never the best, so he had to fight for everything.
I can see it being twofold. I think one, it might be part of like how that person grew up. And so that's just the way they were raised. 2, I feel like it could be the media circus. I feel like no matter what level you're at, media circus is so big that even if whether you're a middle schooler, there's some local paper writing about you saying you're the best person in your county. If you're in high school, there's a bigger paper talking about you. Once you get to college, you're on TV. So like there's always somebody telling you you're the best. Even if you might not even be that good, there's some reputable media source saying you're the best. So you might not feel the urge, or you might not have that dog built in you. Whereas, 90s, 80s, there weren't as many media outlets. So there might not have been as many people saying this person was the greatest. So they didn't hear that. So they kept fighting to get there. But anybody can be great now because there's just so many talking heads out there.
Yeah, I think kind of going what I took from what G said, it's like we create the great ones.
Mm-hmm.
And to an extent it is true, but at the same time, piggyback it right off of what Hawk said, the media tears down those that they don't feel worthy like that. You know what I mean? The amount of number one picks that, oh, he's gonna be the one good example, Andrew Wiggins.
I knew you were going to say his name.
Yo, they said Andrew Wiggins was gonna be the next everything, right? So they gave him all the hype, but he couldn't even match the hype. So it's like, to an extent, we do create our legends. You know what I mean? To an extent we do, but like at the same time, those that have that dog in them, they gonna be legends regardless what we say about them. You know what I mean? They used to, Magic Johnson, when he threw away that the Lakers game in the early in the 80s, they called him Tragic Johnson. They trashed him. They did call him. It ain't stopped my man from getting all his chips.
I think that's one thing we're also missing in today's game. I feel like everybody's too soft on these young players, and that doesn't bring out the best in them.
I can see that. I can see that too.
Nah, I just think more players today understand how much money and how profitable they can be, and because a lot of going to the NBA isn't like, between the four of us, one of us gonna make it to the league. That's not how the numbers work. Yeah. So the people that want to make it to the league, they like, that's their one thing, their dream. And it's not even just about, I want to make it to the league. It's like, I want to pick my family out of whatever struggle and situation we are, and we be good for life. So I just feel like sometimes the mentality is different. Back then, it was like, not to say they weren't playing for that much, but like they were so pressed to win championships is because, I mean, you're getting paid, you were star and everything like that, but like, you're not getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to go out there and lose. Like,
yeah.
But to play devil's advocate, I just came to me to an extent. And like I said, just to play devil's advocate, almost they players in the NBA nowadays do kind of have the dog in them, because like Michelle just said, it's not like 1 out of 4. It's like 1 out of 100 is going to make it to the league. And knowing how much the getting to the league can change life, because even if you're not in poverty, you can have both parents who are amazing, wonderful doctors. You can still earn way more than they're going to earn in like your first month in the league than they're going to make in a year, just because you're getting paid like tens of millions as opposed to their hundreds of thousands. You know what I mean? So even to get there, they still got it a little bit. I think it just looked different because the game might not be as physical now or stuff like that. I think it just looked different.
Or is it more so like they got the dog to get to the league, but not to be the greatest?
That could be part of it as well.
I feel like it's
really a bag. Like, I want to get my family out of poverty, so once I get to the league, I hit my dream.
We say it all the time. A player in them contract years, players be looking like they could be MVP candidates sometimes. Yeah. Most improved players, you think their career about to go crazy. They get that bag, and it's like
raps.
MVPG went from one of the best in the league to the best bricklayer.
Watch your mouth.
That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I mean, contract year. Look, for example, this year, BI was going nuts. He was going nuts. So
BI had to go nuts though. They unleashed him. They let him go.
Part of that team though. Robert on the Sixers, he went crazy and they traded his ass, and that was that.
Yeah. Here we go now.
But any closing thoughts on the Jordan Dockney's first couple episodes before we get out of here?
I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna finish the rest of the episodes. The ones I haven't seen and the ones that come out next week. Finish it, enjoy it. I can't wait. I saw they had something about the Redeem team.
Yeah.
I think something about Kobe as well. Am I correct? Yeah. So we ain't got nothing to do. So the more of these keep rolling out, I'm gonna soak them up and enjoy them.
Facts. When this show drop on Netflix, I'm definitely gonna be doing some rewatches.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming episode. They show the preview of Jordan and Kobe.
Yeah.
Watching. We didn't touch him much, but the Dennis Rodman, watching him.
Oh wait, real quick about Dennis Rodman. There's one thing we forget. I forgot. When Dennis Rodman was talk about when he was like, I used to just go in the gym and tell my boys just to shoot, so I could just learn where to join. If it hit here, boom, hit there, bing, hit this part of the rim, hit that part of the rim. The dedication, that's why he was such a good rebounder. That level of dedication just become perfect at the craft of just rebounding, knowing where the ball gonna hop off based on where they shot it from. He used to study. Oh, if Larry shoot it, it's gonna spin this way. If Jordan shoot it, it might go this way. His rebound go this way. If Pippen
that's
shoot
the wildest part.
If you know what I mean, like him knowing the star players,
their rotation,
how their rotation goes to where their shot goes. Watching that film, people be calling Rodman crazy, but that's genius. That's genius.
Yo, to talk about Rodman, to get back in this, one thing he just said today or like yesterday. He said, and we can definitely discuss this because he just said this. He said, and I'm gonna say this because there's a Kevin Durant fan in here, and there's a LeBron James fan in here, right?
I mean, Mario left, but he's a Kevin Durant fan too. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think
Rodman said he would lock up LeBron James, and he would lock up
Rodman did say that.
Kevin Durant.
I didn't see the Durant part, but I see the LeBron James part.
I'll give him the LeBron James one.
No, he said KD too. He said KD.
I ain't locking up KD. Right, I'm gonna tell you that right now. He ain't locking up KD.
He'll lock up LeBron. I'll admit that.
He would.
He won't lock up KD. And I also don't think he'll lock up 2009 LeBron. But
yes,
just that year.
Yes, he would.
No, he wouldn't. Just that year. That LeBron was on multiple packs of steroids, bro.
My fault.
Dennis Rodman was strong, like he was dump strong, and he could move his feet.
How strong it was in 2009. You
don't understand how Dennis Rodman was in 91, 92, 93.
You just say the 90s.
My guy came back to the Cavs and dropped 30 pounds, still one of the biggest players at his position.
That means nothing.
30 pounds,
yo.
I will say though, it was crazy the fact that LeBron was low-key 280 running around looking wild.
280, bro, running around looking like Zion Williamson, bro. Like,
if no, don't do that. You jacking that. LeBron ain't never looked like Zion. You jacking that. You jacking that.
One, LeBron in a half-court setting does not have the facilities for that big man. He doesn't have the facilities.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Like, off the dribble. If you're playing one-on-one, LeBron don't have the facilities to break Dennis Rodman down and blow by him. He can't do that in a half-court setting.
When he said it, I was just like, okay.
I'm actually surprised he said that.
LeBron James is going to, because look, Dennis Rodman was also a freak athlete, right?
Yeah,
freak athlete.
LeBron James. The one thing about Rodman is Rodman could, like, let's say it's like the Cavs teams versus like.
That's crazy.
You
mad nice with it. Bruh.
You know what's crazy? It's gonna unfreeze and he's gonna be done saying what he's saying.
Oh, he going.
No. Yo, I got that bad Wi-Fi. Nah, but I think LeBron not a jump shooter, so it's easier for Rodman to guard him.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. But at the same time, he can't lock down LeBron James. LeBron James is going to literally move. Like locking down somebody means like on a given night they usually have like 32 points. That means that I'm locking them down tonight. You gonna have like 5 to 12 points.
Remember
what
what
I mean?
Lockdown's a strong word.
Remember what Drew did?
I think
Drew locked down Dame that series.
The entire series, yes. Dame
that's a lockdown.
What
Drew did to Dame and TJ, what Drew and Rondo did to Dame, that's a lockdown, and Rondo's not doing that on either.
Yo, if you paid attention, it's probably not. I don't know if it's in the. I don't know if it's in the documentary or if I heard it somewhere else, but they were talking about how Rodman was putting the hands on Magic, like during the finals. He was putting the hands on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say like Magic and LeBron are the same person, but like LeBron gonna be doing a lot of passing against against Dennis Rodman, bro. He's gonna do a lot of passing, but he's gonna be able to. I honestly think he's gonna be able to just get right by Dennis Rodman and go to the rim. I do think
if Dennis is in your chest, LeBron is not be able to cross over and dip his shoulder and just leave.
No, he's gonna dip his shoulder and just leave.
Why not? That's what
he does. No. I'm gonna say this.
He's just gonna leave.
Yeah, he's just Mario. I understand what you're saying.
Mario, he's gonna do this move right here.
Him down.
When he loses his left hand to grab your right shoulder and he just move you, he's gonna do that.
Yo,
that move
10
right
possessions.
there.
10 possessions, right? 10 possessions.
How much he
LeBron
scored?
versus Rodman, right?
How much LeBron scoring?
LeBron is definitely going to score at least.
I'm gonna
say 5 times,
5 or 6.
Yeah, at least
he got to score 5 times. If Dennis Rodman is playing
shooting, so that's not lock up.
That's how LeBron. That's how LeBron is, though. LeBron shoots.
Also, are we playing that '90s hand check defense?
Oh, we played that '90s hand check defense.
I'm not gonna hold you. If we play the '90s hand check defense, that might. I don't want to gas it.
No. That's it.
I don't think that's gonna make as big of a difference because if he can hit LeBron, start stiff arming.
No, look, LeBron's not gonna. You know how many people try stiff arming the Pistons?
He do it, then he gonna get it, bro.
You know how many people try stiff arming the Pistons and it didn't work? There's no way.
But it is harder to lock down KD. It's harder for him to lock down KD. 100%.
No. 1,000. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen couldn't lock down KD.
Yes, because he's pulling up.
They couldn't.
You don't see them when he shoots.
Yeah, he don't. He's 7 foot with a 7'6" wingspan and can pull up from 30.
Yeah,
yeah. The KD thing is disrespectful because
we know it's not true at all. Like,
but the thing is, I feel like he said that because he's thinking, in like the way we played basketball back in the day, Kevin Durant would have died back in the day.
Kevin Durant was taking jump shots every time he saw the Pistons. That was
exactly. He was still average 30. He was still average 30.
Behind the arc.
But he ain't no way. But the thing is, they were picking up people 94 feet. Like Dennis Rodman picked up Magic Johnson 94 feet.
94, bro. And I think that's what I'm saying. Like if Dennis Rodman was picking up Bron 94 feet,
LeBron's blowing by him. LeBron's blowing by him. I think LeBron's faster than him. Yeah, LeBron is faster than Dennis Rodman.
I understand
without a doubt.
If he make one misstep, it's literally blow by.
No, it's not even a misstep. It's a hezzy into a blow by.
What hezzy?
Yo, maybe a head fake or a hezzy into a blow by.
Head fake, maybe. and then LeBron go look down at the ball, step to the side, and then shoot.
Nah, Rodman is not. He's not putting the clamps on LeBron. But if they playing back in the '90s, like LeBron's gonna probably score 3 or 4 times on Dennis Rodman. Today LeBron's scoring 8 times on Dennis Rodman because Dennis Rodman is fouled out the game for getting close
by halftime.
That's fine.
Yeah. Nah, when they talked about the Pistons series already, right? Yeah, they talked about the Pistons series. One thing they said in that documentary that got me was my man John Sally, I think it was John Sally. He said, "Yo, this is before the stars got like, before the refs cared about the superstars. This is before the refs cared about the superstars. Why that stuck out to me is because this man, Michael Jordan, averaged 28 shooting twos in a league that did not care about superstars.
Yeah.
28 his rookie year in a league that did not care about superstars.
And definitely didn't care about rookies.
Yeah, that's an easy 30.
And definitely didn't care about,
That's an easy 34
That's
game.
why I said Doug Collins. That's why I said, Mario, if Doug Collins was still there and Scotty was an all-star, they were winning. Phil just made it more of a team game. They were still going to win.
Yeah.
They were still going to win. They were still going to win 6. You know what I mean? Because and the reason why they beat the Pistons isn't because of the triangle either. Because they talked about it.
15 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan put on 15 pounds of muscle and they stopped complaining.
Yeah, they got mentally tougher.
Yeah.
They got mentally. That's it.
They always say that one time when Scotty took that real hard foul and when he didn't complain, Jordan was like, "Oh, we got him. If I got Scotty with me, that's all I need."
Yeah.
Simple. There's a season before
he was like, "Oh, we good."
The season before Jordan said it. Jordan just said it's unfortunate that Scotty had a migraine. That's all he said. It's unfortunate that Scotty had a migraine. Because I'm trying to tell you, 8 in 10 years, at least 9.
I've always said that. I've always said
8 in 10 years. Easy 8 in 10 years.
And you can do whatever combination you want, either the migraine or the 2 years he was not in the league, really, whatever. However you want to do it, but 18 years. I've always said that.
At least. Easy. Yeah. This is gonna be a great documentary. The rest of it is gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
It is.
It started off fire, and like every moment, every second of it is captivating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Facts. When it turned off, I'd be like, "Damn, son, they couldn't have extended it a little bit. I know they can add a little something to that. Don't do that.
More tea over there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Jordan got this. One thing in this documentary, Jordan be snitching, bro. Jordan's a snitch. He be snitching, my guy.
What you mean?
He be snitching.
He just giving his account. He just giving his account.
Mm-hmm.
You can only snitch to the feds, bro. You can only snitch to the feds.
Nah, bro.
He's just telling us as he remembers it.
You can only snitch to the feds, bro.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean,
this documentary is the beef to this day between the Pistons and the Bulls. Jordan,
they ain't about no.
That's the thing. When they was talking about when the Bulls did finally beat the Pistons, and the Pistons, Isaiah walk off with his head down, all this, that, and the third. The Jordan was like, "That's mad disrespectful." And they went to show Jordan on the iPad a video of Pippen. Of Isaiah, and he was like, "I mean, you can show me whatever he said, but I don't really care."
No, but that's 100% though. That's 100%.
Yeah,
he shouldn't care, but he did. But one thing he did say is he respects Isaiah as the second best point guard of all time. But that's like on the basketball court.
Yeah,
the basketball court,
he can respect him as a basketball player, but he probably hates him as a man.
Yeah, he probably don't care about him as a man.
And I think that's one of the biggest differences between basketball today, and I feel like that has helped take away some of the edge on the competitive nature of our league. Is because everybody grew up with each other and everybody is friends. I mean,
that's just the way the world is. AAU is huge now. And so like you said, you literally growing up with some of these players. AAU wasn't like that back then. You traveling all over the country with some players, and like now y'all all stars. Like you just growing up. That's why players like you. For perfect example, is Towns, D-Book, and D'Angelo. Like they grew up together. They boys.
Yeah, and but that granted, the basketball is still competitive, but there's like the actual genuine like dislike. It takes away a little bit of the edginess, but
it still takes away people trying to do some sneaky, crazy hard fouls, trying to kill somebody.
I don't know about the hard foul, but I feel like people don't really go at each other like they used to. Like
Yeah. It's been a couple times you can tell the difference, like Dame and Russell Westbrook when they go at each other. You see that.
That's smoke. But Russell Westbrook got smoke with a lot of people, so
he do. He got smoke.
Honestly, I get what Mario's saying, but I honestly just think it's a mentality thing. Because those that have that mentality, because Magic and Bird are the best example of this. Yeah. Magic and Bird were literally like were like the best of friends. But Larry Bird was sitting there and be like, yo, I'm gonna give you this spin sham cross to a hezzy to a step back in your face.
I love Larry
on the baseline. He's gonna do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Smoke. He like it's just the people that was with the smoke were just always with the smoke when you get on the court. So nowadays, the only person that's even like somewhere like saying something similar to back then is like only person I know is probably Giannis, and Dame don't want to play with nobody. Those are probably the only two people.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, it's only about you and your team. That's why when the Bulls lost, what they do, as soon as the season over, they was back in that gym. Jordan said, nah, we're not doing this again.
You talking about that Pistons?
Yeah, against the Pistons. He's like, yo, we're not doing this again. We getting back into this gym. And Scotty, whatever migraine problems you have, you better never have them again.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Scotty taking Tylenol before every game after that.
Facts. Yeah, but
and they talked about the Olympics, right? In episode 4.
Nah, I didn't get to that yet. Nah, they
didn't get to the Olympics.
I figured they were gonna touch on it a little bit later, but they didn't really touch on it that much yet.
Okay, all right. It's probably coming soon. Because the Dream Team and the Kobe thing is coming because it's after they won that championship. Copy. Yo.
But I think this has been good. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Definitely.
We'll probably maybe see if we do something again when this is all when the documentary is over. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this long, you a true basketball fan. We out of here.
Peace.